everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Woodmere State Revival. Today we are finishing up our built-in in the office and the fireplace surround here in the family room. Amber and her dad worked hard this week and put a couple of coats of paint on our raised panel fireplace surround, and it looks really good. It really turned out very, very nice. We were thinking about going dark, and I'm really happy we went with a lighter color, the trim color, because it would have sucked up a lot of the light in here, and that's what we were trying to get away from with this built-in and with this family room layout. The old fireplace in here was a dark brick, and it had a huge brick fireplace surround with a wood box and everything else. If you go back to some of the early videos there, you'll see that thing when we tore it down, and it was just bulky and dark and heavy. And this thing is light, bright, and just reflects light back into the room and really helps to keep this space light, and we're happy about it. So right now, working on getting a TV hung on the mantle, or above the mantle there behind me. Got a bracket and everything. I'm working on that, and Amber's going to give me a hand here in a sec to figure out the final height of the TV, and then we're going to move into the office and work on our built-in there. We've got end panels to go on, we've got an apron to go on the bottom, and then we've got some panels to go on the side of the upper cabinets as well to really dress them out. They're raised panel details as well. So we'll get all this stuff going, and it's really going to get this space completed. Cannot wait to get the last of this stuff finished and get this area cleaned up and checked off the list. So we are using this tilt bracket from Rocket Fish for our television. We wanted to be able to have it tilted down slightly at an angle toward the couch. That way we're not craning our necks trying to see it. When nobody's watching, we can always tilt it back up into the perfectly vertical position. So a pretty slick little setup. It's got a tilt bracket that screws to the back of the television, and then there's a piece that screws to the wall with a couple of lags. And we did put some blocking in behind here. So we've got this outlet situated right here for the TV, and then right here we've got blocking in behind here that is secured to the masonry with Tapcons. So we're going to go ahead and get our lags, secure that bracket, and then we'll just be able to drop the TV in place and get it clicked in. Real easy to pull it off later if you have to. This little bracket just this little latch just pulls down, and that releases the television off the wall if you need to take it down for some reason. So pretty easy setup. So we're going to figure out the final height on the TV. Amber's going to give me a hand with that, and then I'll go ahead and get the holes drilled and get it mounted. So now that we finished up the television install, we are working on the other side. We're working on the office side, or the solarium, as I like to call it. And right now I'm out here on the back porch. I've got the table saw and the miter saw set up. We just ripped down some Luan, and we're going to use this to space out our panels on the side of our built-in. There's a little lip that I'll show you here in a second. And when you attach those raised panels, if you don't have something like this 3/16 Luan to space them out, then they end up kind of tilting back, and it just doesn't look as clean. So we'll install this, and then Amber will paint the gap where the two panels come together with the same white trim paint, so there's not like a dark shadow back in there. So she'll get that painted, and then we'll go ahead and get our panels installed over top of this Luan. So let me make this cut real quick, and then we'll go ahead and take this inside and get it tacked up. the first time, just to keep the fuzzing to a minimum. This stuff, thin little plywood does like to fuzz. If you let the saw blade go down and rip back up through it, it tends to rip a lot of this stuff off. So you go across the whole way the first time with the blade, and it kind of scores it, and prevents that from ripping out as badly. So here's the little overlap. Zoom in on that, and this 3/16 plywood fills that in perfectly. Let me hold that up here. So that'll fill that in perfectly, and then once we put our panels in over top, everything will be nice and flush, and they won't cock back toward the back of the cabinet here. So we're gonna go ahead and use some trim nails and our little pin nailer, and just pin those to the cabinet boxes.
It's pretty good, doesn't it?
It does.
So many players in that.
Read.
Oh, sorry.
The key is not to drill all the way through the panel.
We made that mistake once, didn't we?
Once.
Well, in our defense, it wasn't through this part of the panel. It was actually through here.
Yeah, we realized that the screw
was that far over.
was coming out in that spot, so. My bad. Okay, well, these are looking great. I like how these come together, and
Yeah, looks good.
it's not going to create a gap there like I thought it was.
Yeah.
The panels are a little different.
All right, so how many screws do you have in the lower one?
It's two.
Just two?
So
Okay.
do two in the back.
Okay.
That's good. All right, so as you can see, we got our upper panels attached, and they turned out great. The fitment and everything looks really good. And we got them secured with these little 1¼ cabinet screws. They're a GRK screw. They're fantastic. They got that washer head. There's no way that thing's pulling through the cabinet. So it looks really good. So now we're working on our panel down below. Going to go ahead and get it mounted next, and it's going to fit really well. The kind of sit it in there for you. Takes a little convincing there, but that thing will slide right back in there nice and tight. And then just like before, I'm going to use the clamps and pull it up tight against the side there, and then we'll run some screws in through there, and that thing will be in there nice and snug. Will not move. Now on the bottom, we've got, where is it? Oh, over here against our paint rack. On the bottom, we've got this skirt board. It's got this really nice detail. And so we'll get that cut down, and that will go in between the two end panels. But before we do that, we've got to go through and cut off all the shims and then install the last piece of toe kick. So I think I'm going to do the sideboards first, and then I'll do the toe kick, and then I'll do the skirt in that order. But that should look really good. Now the skirt board will get secured down through the cabinet frames, and that'll hold it in place. Hopefully that it'll all line up. You know, worst case scenario, I could put a pin nail through the side into the skirt board just to make sure that it doesn't move get out of alignment with the sideboards. And that can be filled in really easily. When they send these cabinets, they send them with a touch-up crayon and a touch-up paint marker. And so anything you do, if you have to, put a nail somewhere just because there's no other way to touch it up or no other way to fasten it, then you've got at least a paint marker or a paint crayon, touch-up crayon that you can use to go ahead and fill that nail hole. All right, so let me go ahead and get this thing fitted, and then we'll get it screwed in and nice and tight. All right, so we're gonna put our last screw in this panel. It's a little fun reaching back in around all this. All right, so now we've got screws on all four corners. One down there, and then we did one in each of the front corners. And now we've got this thing secured and looking good. All right, so we moved to the other side. Amber just cleaned out all her cookbooks and fun stuff out of the cabinet there so we can get access to the inside of this one to get our panel screwed in place. And I got our piece of Luan nailed in there. That's a spacer, basically just to help keep everything even. So we've got that nailed on, and now we're ready to go ahead and get our panels on there, get them adjusted, and get them screwed down in place.
All right, securing that last panel.
Yes, ma'am.
Woohoo!
Finally time to put it all together.
Yay.
The drawers back in, the shelves back in.
I think this is almost finished. We got that. We still have the
Put
toe
the
kick
apron on.
and the apron to do.
Yep, tomorrow.
All right. Wow, it looks gorgeous. Do you need me to hold that, or you got it? You want me to push in on the outside?
It's harder than it looks.
I know.
No, I did the other one like this. It's not.
Okay, all right. Good job.
Looks straight.
It does. Last screw. Woohoo!
All right, so we got the last of the panels screwed in place, and it looks fantastic. I tell you, these panels really do help complete the look of the built-in and then add a lot of character to it. Last thing we got to do tomorrow is put down the apron and the toe kick. So we'll work on that tomorrow. Just running out of steam for tonight, so we're going to go ahead and get that finished tomorrow, but you can really see this thing coming together. We got to put the glass shelves in, and then we're ready to decorate this space. We're almost to the point where we can take the paper up in here and really appreciate the beauty of the hardwood floors and everything else next to these cabinets. So we'll check back in with you guys tomorrow and get this place finished out. All right, so we're back working on our built-in today. Yesterday, if you'll remember, we got the raised panels put in on the sides, on the upper and lower cabinets, and that really completes the look. It's quite pretty. Today we're working on our toe kick. And in order to get the toe kick done, we have to go through and cut our shims off that we used to level up the cabinets when we set them in the first place. And it's really hard to work under a cabinet like this and cut a shim off. So what I typically do is take my pencil and I'll go across and mark the shims right at the edge of the cabinet base. That way I know where I need to make a cut. And then I'll actually take them out to the miter saw and then just cut them off on the miter saw. So much easier than trying to use a utility knife, you know, and kind of score underneath the cabinet, because you take a chance on slipping and cutting your flooring and everything else, or cutting yourself. So I'll take a little pry bar with a scrap of a shim and use that to just lift up on the cabinet ever so slightly. And then once you lift up on it, it actually slides in pretty easily. Wish I had a third hand. Then you just kind of slide it back in there till it's flush, and then you're done. And repeat all the way across here. And I usually mark them with, you know, RL, ML, MR, just to keep them straight. That way we don't get them mixed up out on the table saw if you happen to have more than one out. So let me go ahead and cut these last two shims off and get them in place, and we'll be ready for toe kick.
All right, so we got the toe kick in. It looks amazing. Chris is gonna nail it in there.
Yep. Pin nailer.
Yeah.
To the rescue.
I marked it. I can't talk.
Reed's been given strict instructions not to interrupt our video.
Doing a great job.
Oh.
Recording and they don't want me to talk.
You're still talking.
Oh my. This is why I hate
The joys of video games.
There's no joy in video games. For anyone.
I agree.
All right.
That looks great. All right.
Next step, apron.
Yay. And
That's gonna suck.
it's a beauty.
So I gotta rip it down.
Yeah.
It's too tall. Whew.
All right.
So, slight hiccup on our plans.
Yes.
This awesome trim board that we ordered
Is
is about 3/16 of an inch too short. Not exactly sure why, but at any rate, there's 0 extra there. It's exactly 6 feet, and well, with the cabinetry, you can tell there's a lip on the end.
Yeah, which we've got a lip here and a lip over there.
There's always a little extra. So I don't know why they didn't give us any extra to trim off, but there's 0 extra. So we have exactly 6 feet of skirt board, and then exactly 6 feet and 3/16 to fill there. So we're going to take a break from this and go work on some other projects. Get back with our cabinet people and see what we can get figured out for there. All right, so that's going to do it for today. We're kind of up against a roadblock here, so we're going to leave this project for now and go take care of some other things. We've still got to put the glass shelves in and get those ready. Also, Amber's planning on something special for that area, aren't you?
Yeah, the wallpaper.
Yeah, so you can see some samples there. So we're trying to make a decision on what samples or what paper is going to go in there. So we'll keep you guys posted on that. But we'll have to wait till another day after we get a solution for our little skirt board there. So hang in there. We'll get back and wrap this project up along with some others in the very near future. Be sure to hit that subscription button and the little notification bell so that you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes. Got any comments or questions? Feel free to leave those down below. And as always, give us a like if you would, please. Share the channel, folks. We're real happy with our subscriber count going up week after week, and love sharing this story with more folks. So please be sure to keep telling your friends and family about it. We'll see you guys again soon. Bye-bye.